Hey there, it's Colette, and in today's episode, we're going to talk with Ayurvedic physician Meenakshi Gupta, and this is actually the second in a series of 3 podcasts about Ayurveda and pregnancy. In the first one, which was episode number 95, we covered Ayurvedic preconception and pre-planning for pregnancy. In this episode, we're going to talk about the actual pregnancy and the month-to-month diet and lifestyle. And then in the third part of this series, we're going to talk about postpartum and breastfeeding. So let's get into today's episode and talk all about pregnancy. Hello and welcome to Elements of Ayurveda, Empowering Wisdom of Life. I'm your host, Colette, and in this podcast, I hope to empower you to take charge of your own health by sharing the holistic teachings of Ayurveda, the ancient healing tradition from India. We will also discuss topics like health and wellness, nutrition, yoga, fitness, meditation, breath work, and much more, as well as interviewing lots of inspiring people along the way. My humble wish is to help you to connect to your true nature, to Mother Nature, and to each other. If you like the content, be sure to subscribe to the show, and the new episodes will automatically download for you to enjoy. If you're new to Ayurveda, I recommend you listen to the first couple of episodes where I do an introduction to Ayurveda and the mind-body types. I've also set up a Facebook group for us to connect and to support each other, and I'd love for you to join me over at Elements of Ayurveda podcast group. And now here's the show. Hello and welcome to Elements of Ayurveda. This is Colette, and today I'm welcoming back Ayurvedic physician Meenakshi Gupta. I was joined by Meenakshi in episode number 95, where we were talking about preconception and pre-planning for pregnancy. Now, in this second part of this conversation, we're going to talk about month-to-month diet and lifestyle for pregnancy. So, Vaidya Meenakshi Gupta, welcome back to Elements of Ayurveda, and thank you for joining us again.
Thank you, Colette, for having me over here. Let's talk about the pregnancy. So first of all, pregnancy is actually a beautiful phase in woman's life. That's what I feel. Being a mom to 2 girls, I always feel that that's the best thing ever happened to me.
Beautiful.
And I feel that life of woman is not complete unless she has a baby in her hands and gives birth to a baby. But the birth should not be risky to mom or the child. So that's why where our sages has set certain protocol and certain directions so that the pregnancy is healthy and the baby also born healthy. As I said, the pregnancy can be very challenging phase of the life as the mother body goes through so many different phases, not only on the physical level, but also on the emotional level. And those changes actually are good changes because that helps in create and support the development of the fetus inside the body. And in Ayurveda, there are certain guidelines which can help to enjoy that period more, to make the period more enjoyable or easy for women. So in that, they have set certain diet protocols, certain lifestyle protocol, what to do, what not to do. And of course, there are certain herbal supplements also during different phases of the pregnancy, after childbirth, and during the breastfeeding. And if you see, the sages are right now also, if you see that the gynecologists, doctors, OBGYN, they are very careful when you get pregnant first time. They give you the list of what is good for you, what to eat, what not to eat. And if you want to travel, you always look for a OBGYN permission that it is okay to travel during first trimester or last trimester.
Right.
So in that way, our sages also, or in Ayurveda also, they have suggested like a woman, once she get pregnant, it's just like a pot full to the brim with the oil. So if imagine a pot which is totally full with the oil, and you want to take that oil from one place to another by walking and holding the pot, how careful you need to be. So that's how the pregnant woman is. She needs to be very careful what to eat, what not to eat, how the lifestyle should be, how much she needs to sleep, so that not only for the well-being of the baby, for her own well-being, because as I said, the body goes through so many changes during the pregnancy, physically, psychologically, that will help in balancing later on also, and during the pregnancy also.
Wonderful.
So when we talk about do's and don'ts during the pregnancy, first of all, it's said that there are certain natural urges. I think I have described those in the preconception phase also.
Yes, you did. Yes.
So there are certain natural urges which can be very harmful if we suppress. For example, urination, bowel movement, flatulence should never be suppressed. And that's not only during the pregnancy, in otherwise also day-to-day life also. Our sages have said that 13 natural urges which should never be suppressed. But during the pregnancy, one should be very, very careful. The reason is, if you have the urge to urinate, and if you are suppressing, that can lead to urinary tract infection, because at that time, the body is more prone to getting infections, and moreover, because of the growing uterus also, it put pressure on the bladder.
Of course.
And now imagine if somebody has the urge for the flatulence, and if they want to hold it, that also can create, because in the flatulence, all the apanvayu, which we say that, or the vat element can go upward movement and can create nausea, belching, and heartburn. So in that way, if you see, everything makes sense scientifically also, that why it has been said like that. Right. Bowel movements also. So if somebody is suppressing the bowel movements, so there is already a fecal matter collected in the colon. So that can lead to loss of appetite or anorexia, which is again a not feeling hungry when it is a time to eat. So this is the first thing where one should not suppress the natural urges.
Right. I just want to go back to the apanvayu that you mentioned there. So just to explain to people, that's the downward moving energy. So if we suppress that energy will then be redirected and sometimes upwards into the body. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. And that energy, the downward movement energy, is very, very essential to give the childbirth also, because during the labor, that is the energy which you utilize to push the baby out.
Right, exactly.
So we definitely want to keep that energy in the balanced state.
Right, exactly, because labor itself can be vata provoking. So we want to make sure through pregnancy that we're not causing extra aggravation to the vata dosha. Great. Thank you for clarifying that.
And then second thing they have in Ayurveda, it has been mentioned that try to sit straight, not on the hard surface, irregular or uncomfortable surface. And if you see that such sitting position, if you are sitting in slanted or oblique postures, that can put extra pressure on the uterus, and that can hamper the nutrition supply or the blood supply to the fetus.
Right.
So that's the reason they have mentioned try to sit with spine straight at all times.
Okay.
And then sleep on the side. And if you know that when you go to the OBGYN also, after certain months, 3 months or 4 months, she will also suggest that try to sleep on your side. especially left lateral side, we say that. The reason is, again, when you are sleeping straight, the blood vessels get compressed, especially the vena cava gets pressed, which is a major blood supply to the placenta and the fetus. So when you are on the sideline position, especially on the left side, that is the vessels does not get compressed, and that allows the efficient blood supply to the fetus as well as to the placenta.
Wonderful. So left side, if you're sleeping.
Yeah, left side, left lateral side, they say that. And then avoid loud noise, unnecessary physical activity, inappropriate exercise, because that is going to make, for example, the loud noise, the mom can get scared, and that psychologically can affect the baby also inside. Because in Ayurveda, it's been from 5,000-year-old science, it has been believed that whatever the mother does, eat, hear, activities, everything baby feels inside. And there are certain months where baby express his or her desires through the mom, which is, we call it as the dohridni. We will talk about that also later.
Okay, great.
Also, during the initial phase of the pregnancy and throughout the pregnancy also, should not wear tight clothes. Again, that will impede the circulation. So these are certain don'ts and do's during the pregnancy, which in Ayurveda we suggest to everybody.
Yeah. Can I just go back to one that you mentioned there, Meenakshi, is the strenuous exercise. I think that's important to note because people have this question a lot, and some people are confused about how much exercise to do during pregnancy, and if they're already competitive athletes, if they can continue. So what is Ayurveda's advice on that?
I would say that especially the gym exercises or vigorous aerobics, strenuous swimming, gentle swimming is fine, and lifting heavy weight can harm the fetus. Yeah. Now imagine if you are lifting the heavy weights, that will put additional pressure on the uterus. And there are certain conditions with the uterus where sometimes cervical incompetency, where there are chances of opening the cervix, opening prematurely also. And if the exercise regimen also can add into that. So that's why it is always good to go with the lighter exercise, preferably walking daily, breathing exercises, light swimming. Those are the kind of things which we say that. And if you see in Ayurveda perspective also, that strenuous exercises will aggravate again the vata, which the pregnant mother after the delivery, the body goes through so much with the labor and all that gets aggravated. So we want to keep the things balanced in the initial phase only. To go along smooth pregnancy.
Sure. And I would say that to make sure that you're keeping your vital resources so that, I know we're going to talk about breastfeeding later, but so that you have good nourishment and vitality in order to provide breast milk to your baby. If you're running those resources down through to overtraining or pushing too hard, it's going to affect the breastfeeding at the other end, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you'll get to that later. Yeah. Yeah. But I just want to, I know the exercise is a big question. So thank you for covering that for me.
You're most welcome.
A quick interruption here to remind you of two events I have coming up. The first event is the seasonal group cleanse. It's a discounted group event that's happening September 20th. So coming up very soon, where we want to cleanse the body of toxins at the change of seasons to prevent illness. So you can check that out in the show notes. That seasonal Ayurvedic cleanse. We're doing a group format, which is discounted starting September 20th. Then the next event I have coming up is the Ayurveda and Yoga Retreat, which is happening in the south of France from October 11th to the 13th. And it's going to be 3 days of connection and education, having fun. Ayurveda and yoga and lots more activities. So again, check that out. The link is in the show notes, or go to my website, elementshealingandwellbeing.com/retreat. So I hope to connect with you soon. And now let's get back to the show.
Okay, let's talk about the diet during pregnancy. So during the pregnancy, we all know that the fetus obviously needs nourishment in every way possible, right? Because whatever the mom is going to eat, that is going to go and nourish the fetus. If a pregnant woman is very careful about her diet at the time, so then both her and the baby will reap the benefits throughout their lives. So that's why we say that ahar rasa, which is the sap or essence. So whatever the pregnant woman eats should be able to digest. So that means light the diet and nourish the fetus inside her. How we can provide the optimum ahar rasa means proper nourishment to the baby. In Ayurveda, we say that whatever the pregnant woman eats, that goes divided into 3 important functions. First of all, it will nourish the mom's body, because if the mom's body is healthy, then only she can give birth to a healthy baby.
Right.
Second part, it will help improve both quality and quantity of breast milk. So breast milk is not like after the baby born, then only, yes, then the prolactin level rises and once you latch the baby or the body automatically start producing the breast milk. But behind the scene, if you see that the preparation started the moment you get pregnant.
Right.
So because of your diet, that nourishment in the breast milk comes through your diet, which you have taken during the whole pregnancy.
Exactly. Yes. Great.
And third one, the diet will help nourish and develop the embryo. So whatever you are eating, that is going to be in 3 functions: nourish your body, nourish the embryo or the baby, and preparation for the breast milk. So all these 3 functions are carrying at different phases of pregnancy. Now, to see that we get the optimal nutrition, we need the food. First of all, I cannot emphasize more on the water intake.
Okay.
The water is a very important component, and 60% of our body is made up of water. And during the pregnancy, that quantity increases more because there is amniotic fluid also included in that. So to keep the baby nourished and well hydrated, we need the water. But in Ayurveda, we say that the cold water can provoke again the vata. So it's always good to boil the water, let it cool down at room temperature, and then throughout the day, one can have that water. I remember when I was reading during my graduation time in Sushruta, there was a very good thing they have told, that if the water is infused with the gold, it promotes the development of the brain and nervous system in the fetus. And there are different methods of infusing the gold in the water. But later on, when we went to, I have done my MD in pediatrics in Ayurveda. So there is one chapter where it is explained the Swarna Prashanam. Swarna means gold. Prashanam means when the baby is born, you do certain sanskar. Last time also we do this. We discussed about the sanskar,
Exactly.
Garbhadharan sanskar, right?
That's correct.
So, Swarna Prashna sanskar in Ayurveda is like you are giving the vaccination to the baby. In a medicated form, certain herbal components mixed with infused with the pure gold, that is given to the baby to promote his or her immune system.
Wow, I never heard that.
So,
very interesting.
Yes, and that is, you can do it at during the pregnancy also. Water infused with the gold. So a small piece of gold, which you are wearing on day-to-day basis, that should not be counting towards that, because the purity of the gold also matters. So small piece of gold or any gold ornament, you can just, when you are boiling the water, you can put it in that. And that water also will help in the proper development of the brain and nervous system in the fetus.
Wow. And are you talking about like gold leaf, like a pure, good quality gold leaf that you put in the water?
No, no. It can be like a there is like a gold coin also, or anything which you are not wearing on your body.
See.
Not
Just
using
to
it as an
infuse.
ornament.
Okay,
yes,
okay. I got you.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking, are you going to drink this? Okay, so some pure gold that is you put in the water. So just like you put in water in a copper vessel, you're putting gold in, and the water takes on the qualities of that metal. Okay, perfect. Got you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then there is the importance of milk also. Milk, we all know that we need for protein and calcium. Unless until there is a milk allergy or intolerance, then that person can use different other types of milk. But in general form, when we talk about milk, here comes the importance of cow milk. So in Ayurveda, we say that it is the best source for protein and calcium, and it helps in development of muscles, tissues of the fetus, and it provides a strong foundation for its bone. So that's why they say that 1 cup of milk, 1 or 2 cup of milk should be there included in the diet.
Okay, now this one is a little controversial because the big debate on milk these days and the way the cows are raised and the farming practices and so on. So what do you have to say on that? And could you offer some alternatives, or is there any alternatives you could offer, like hemp milk or something like that, which is very high in protein as well?
Let's talk about the cow milk. Cow milk is like if you can get A2 cow milk or which is unpasteurized, that can be used. And if the cows are not raised on the meat, instead grass-fed cows,
right,
that milk still conducive to health. The only catch here is you have to boil the milk properly because it is not pasteurized. Okay, so right?
Yeah, correct. So buying unpasteurized milk and then boiling it yourself at home.
Yeah. And that also, I would say, because since I live in the country where selling a unpasteurized milk is not as per law. Yeah. So they have to take the different permissions from the government to sell that. So if your country or wherever you live, if that is available, so that is the one option. When it comes to milk, in Ayurveda, we have 8 types of milk, and the seed milk unfortunately does not count towards the milk.
Okay, so that's the seeds or nut milk.
Yes, like that is not milk. Counted towards, hemp seed, coconut milk, almond milk is not considered as to be true milk. Okay. So if the cow milk is not an option, then maybe goat milk. Goat milk is also full of protein that can be utilized. But with the goat milk, one has to be a little careful about the iron because goat milk hamper the iron absorption.
Oh, interesting.
So that can be done, but otherwise seed milks are not considered as a proper milk. But yes, if you know that your body cannot handle the milk, cow milk, especially you are allergic to milk, then it is good to go with the seed milk, almond milk, hemp milk, rice milk, coconut milk, whatever is easily available.
Right, and go for the one with the highest protein content and calcium content, or at least supplementing that in your diet.
Yes. And sometimes we see that people complain that the milk causes bloating or heaviness in the body when they drink. And that's the reason they don't want to drink the milk. But for that also in Ayurveda, especially during pregnancy, it has been mentioned. So for example, if milk is causing heaviness or flatulence or bloating in the body, not digesting well, so one can do take 1 cup of milk, take 1 cup of water, mix together, add a little bit of ginger powder, black pepper, boil properly, and you may add a little bit of saffron into that, or turmeric or cardamom to enhance the taste. And that milk will help in proper digestion and won't cause the heaviness or the flatulence.
Great.
But this is only if you don't have any intolerance or allergy to the cow milk.
Right. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for going over that.
Then butter. Butter is also very good. Buttermilk is also very good. Ghee, essential component of balanced diet, that also one should include. Here, let me talk about a little bit about the butter also. Butter, if you have a time, then homemade butter. Homemade butter, like you boil the milk, make the curd, and then churn the curd. And whatever cream you get, that is considered as a homemade butter. And that is daily intake from the onset of pregnancy is really, really good. Because especially during the first phase of the pregnancy, first 3 months, first trimester, because fresh butter, it has a cooling effect on the body.
Okay.
Increases the vitality, energy, and improves digestive fire, and also improves the skin complexion. So now if we see a little bit of scientifically also, cooling effect, during first trimester, there are chances of miscarriage. So that's why we say that do not eat the food which is a hot in potency. So here the butter itself, because of cooling effect, it will help in keeping the body also sustainable for the pregnancy. And then during the first trimester, because the baby is still, the fetus is still small, growing and taking shape, the energy level also gets little low. So it helps in providing the energy also, and digestion also slows down because the uterus starts putting pressure on your stomach and other organs. So in that way also easy to digest and cooling and improves the digestive fire. So that's the reason the butter, buttermilk, ghee should be included in the diet.
Wonderful.
Many times we see that during the pregnancy does not only bring the good thing in the form of the baby. Sometimes the health conditions also stays for forever, I would say that. Many women goes through gestational diabetes. Many women go through hemorrhoids, depression, so many other things.
Yeah.
So, for example, the hemorrhoids is also very like a common problem during the pregnancy.
Yes.
So the buttermilk and the butter will help in preventing that also. So see, the diet, whatever it has been suggested in Ayurveda, is looking at how it can nourish the baby and the mom, and how it can prevent the complication of the pregnancies also.
Great. Can I ask you a question? How would you take the buttermilk?
I would say add some water to the curd, churn this mixture thoroughly, churn until again the butter comes out of the curd. Separate this butter. So whatever it is left, that is your buttermilk. And the good thing is the buttermilk should be, the thickness should be, it is thin than the milk. So then in that you can add a little bit of cumin powder, like 1/4 teaspoon, and a couple pinches of rock salt or the Himalayan salt. And that enhances the taste also, because rock salt improves the agni also, digestive fire.
Great.
So it enhances the taste also. And then during the few times during the pregnancy when mom does not feel like to eat, so in that also it will provide the nourishment also.
Wonderful.
And medicinal properties are always there in the buttermilk. So that's how one can make the buttermilk at home.
Great.
And consume on daily basis.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
And then there is a ghee also. Ghee. In Ayurveda, we say that it is apart from not only from it's like a good oil, but it is a lubricating nutrient also. And in pregnancy, we all know that the lubrication is must, because you need that lubrication so that your lower abdomen, your hip region, pelvic region, everything is gonna go through the labor, and that can aggravate the vata. So if it is well lubricated, it will help in not only during the delivery, but afterwards also recovering in a faster and better mode.
Great.
So ghee one should include on daily basis for the immune system. It also provides the energy also, and strengthen the entire body also. And ghee, if you know, Colette, it's very good for eyes and ears also, for the vision, I would say, and for the hearing also.
Right.
And ghee is considered as a Medhya Rasayana also. So increase memory, intellect, and grasping power. So if you remember all the ghritam which we use for mental health is with the cow milk.
Yes.
Because the cow milk is the one which improves the memory, intellect, grasping power, works very well on the mental health along with the other herbs.
Wonderful.
And then comes the green leafy vegetables to get all the calcium and the iron. You can use few drops of lemon juice on the leafy vegetables so that you can get good source of vitamin C.
Right.
Then all dates, black raisins, beetroot, pomegranate, apples, amla. Amla is also very cooling. Amla, Indian gooseberry, amlaki, we say that.
Yes. Yep.
And saffron also. It all helps towards boosting your iron content. And there is a one type of... Yeah, go ahead.
And I just had a question about the apples. Would you recommend that people stew the apples or make an apple sauce with that so it's cooked and easier to digest? Okay.
Yes, apple sauce, pear sauce is also stewed pear. Those are also good.
Great.
And then there is a different kind of sugar also, which is unprocessed one. We call it as jaggery. Jaggery is also very rich in iron content, and that they can utilize actually during making the apple sauce to add the additional benefit. Yes.
Great.
Then it comes a month-to-month diet, which is very, very important. So during the first month, we say that during the time, majority of the mom, they does not know even that they are pregnant.
Right.
So I would say that when you start preparing the body for the pregnancy, that time itself you should start following the diet, because first month, by the time you will get to know that you are pregnant, the first month is already gone. So that's how start taking milk at room temperature. Eat according to taste, because the taste buds also changes during the first month. And the food which can be digest easily, that should be taken.
Okay.
So easily here means they can go on lentils, they can go on green leafy vegetables, little less grains, because grains are going to be little harder to digest, but the rice is the one which can be easier to digest. But that again depends upon taste buds and quality of digestion.
Okay.
Now come to the second month. When I say that this is the month-to-month diet, that does not mean that they should stick only to this.
Of course, yeah.
That means these are the things which they should include apart from their regular diet or the diet suggested by OBGYN.
Right.
So second month, it is good to consume milk boiled with water and sweet tasting herbs. Last time we discussed about shatavari.
Yes.
Shatavari is, as I said, a very versatile herb which one can use pre-preparation also, during the pregnancy also, after childbirth, even during breastfeeding also, and even helpful in the postpartum and menopause also. So Shatavari, one can boil maybe 1/4 teaspoon in 1 cup of milk and 1 cup of water. Why we are adding water here? Because again, the digestion is not appropriate. So milk can be a little heavy. So just to balance that, we are making infusing the herb also. So boil it properly and let it cool down to the desirable temperature, and that is more conducive to the health.
Okay, great. Now, so you're adding 1/4 of a teaspoon of shatavari there, and are you boiling the milk and water together and then adding the shatavari afterwards, or do you want the shatavari in the boil?
Shatavari in the boil. I would add 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of water, and shatavari, and boil it properly. And because it's going to be 2 cups now, 2 cups of liquid, right, 1 cup milk, 1 cup water. When you boil, it should reduce to 1 cup, and that is your milk for the second month. Okay. And then the third month, one should include milk. Again, you can do the shatavari milk, and include the ghee also. And honey also. So you can actually mix honey and ghee in the milk. But the only thing is one needs to be careful that ghee and milk, ghee and honey should not be in equal quantity.
Right, yes.
So 1 teaspoon of honey, 2 teaspoon of ghee in cup of warm milk. That should be taken during the third month. That should be included in the third month.
To explain to people why they're not equal amounts is because it can be toxic if the ghee and honey are of equal amounts. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes, 1 teaspoon of honey and 2 teaspoon of ghee in a cup of warm milk. And also, you should never boil the honey along with the milk. Once you are ready to eat, ready to drink the milk, then only add the honey.
Perfect.
Third month, we say that senses develops at microscopic level. So that's why we are adding ghee during the third month.
Okay.
Now comes to the fourth month. In fourth month, you can have the milk. You can have shatavari milk also. But in addition to that, we will add a little bit of homemade butter with sugar. Say 1 tablespoon of homemade butter should be consumed like every morning. You can do with the candy sugar, rock candy, we say that. It comes in the crystal form also, and it comes in the rock form also, small rocks. And fourth month is the one which is like, we say that dahridni. There is a word which is called as dahridni means daw means 2. And hridne means heart. So one having 2 hearts. Because the baby beating inside her body. One is her own heart and the another one is the baby's heart, which is beating inside her body. And during this phase of the period of the fourth month of the pregnancy, the developing fetus start expressing his or her desire through the mother. In Ayurveda, we say that the baby is able to voice its wishes through its heart from now on, from the fourth month.
Yeah,
mom is called it as like having 2 hearts. And also they say that if mom is expressing some wishes, it should be fulfilled because that is not hers, that is coming from the baby during the fourth month of the pregnancy.
So this is cravings, we would call cravings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So cravings, when you get those bizarre cravings.
Yeah. And those can be in the form of sour food or can be in the form of having excessive sweet fruit. So it can be different from one pregnant woman to the another. And sometimes different in the different pregnancies. For example, I mean, one first baby, it might be different cravings. Second might be different cravings. So for the above reason, I mean, for this reason only, they said that one should include according to her taste. The food should be according to her taste now.
Right. The body is so amazing that these cravings come through. And, it's interesting that you mentioned taste, because some women, when they're pregnant, they get cravings and it would be for the sweet taste, but then they would be going towards candy or processed sweet foods, but thinking more about what taste you're craving and then what's the best option. Like you said, extra sweet fruit or something.
Yeah, extra sweet fruit, or one can always go for a rice pudding, which is more healthier choice instead of ice creams and all.
Right, yeah. Or dates or mangoes or something like that.
Yes, yes. But if you are craving for ice cream, for example, maybe in little small amount, it is okay to have that.
Or maybe like even a sorbet, so that it's more natural, sorbet with natural fruit or something like that.
Yes, yeah. Now comes to the 5th month. 5th month onwards, the mind becomes sensitized to, the baby's mind becomes very familiar with certain feelings. And they say that in Ayurveda, we say that it becomes very aware about the surroundings. And during this period, there is a maximum development of muscle tissue, blood, and mind happens. So as per our sage, 5th month, where the mind start taking shape. So we know that ghee is being a intellectual, increases the intellectual property of the mind. So 5th month onward, ghee should be exclusively in the diet. And here exclusively means they have said that 2 to 3 teaspoons per meal one can add in the diet. But that again depends upon if you have a high blood pressure or during pregnancy you are following the gestational diabetes diet, then that's not a choice.
Right.
But in general, the 5th month, ghee should be inclusively in the diet. 6th to 7th months, now your body is, the baby is gonna grow more further. In 6 months, we say that the intelligence, strength, complexion develops during the 6 months. And those foundations being laid from the fetal stage when you are following the certain diet. So in order to have a strong intellectual baby with a glowing complexion or healthy skin, or I will say that overall healthy baby, during the 6 months, one should be very, very careful and pay strict attention to the diet, health, lifestyle, and behavior also. Because as we said that in 5th month, mind start taking shape and baby start awareing about the surroundings. So whatever the thoughts you are experiencing also, that is also going to impact the baby.
Right.
So 6-7 months include more ghee, include shatavari, and also there is another herb which one can include licorice in the form of licorice tea, or just licorice mixed with the ghee or boiled with the milk. That also can be included in the diet. Okay,
and licorice would be very sweet in taste.
Licorice, yes, licorice is sweet. So that's how it nourishes the dhatus, the muscles and the blood. Right. So that's why we are including the licorice in that during 6th and 7th.
Great. And I guess just to mention that with the licorice, it can raise blood pressure if used in excess. So if you have hypertension, that you need to be careful with that.
Yeah, these are the general, I would definitely say that more emphasize on that these are the general recommendations if you don't have any medical condition.
Right, exactly.
And if somebody has any medical condition, please consult your Ayurveda physician or OBGYN before going into this type of regimen.
Right. Okay, perfect.
So 8th month onward, one can add the rice porridge. And the rice porridge or the semolina or the wheat porridge, because in this month, ojas, which is the supreme energy, flows alternatively between mom and baby. We see that mom and fetus, it keeps on shifting. So if you see that in 8 months, sometimes the pregnant women have mixed type of emotions. Sometimes it appears she is extremely happy and full of energy. And sometimes it appears that she's drained completely and very tired.
Yeah.
It is because the ojas keeps on shifting from mom to, ojas means the energy keeps on shifting from baby to mom, fetus to mom, and mom to fetus.
Okay.
So this is the reason in Ayurveda also we say that if because of the transfer of this energy, if the delivery, for any reason the delivery happens in the 8th month, that is not considered healthy for mother as well as the baby. So for that to nourish the baby and the mind and the mom, to keep everything in synchronization phase, include more carbs like rice, wheat porridge, semolina, and of course the sweet herbs like shatavari and licorice can be added during that period.
Great.
So now comes to the 9th month. So 9th month is the time where your body is now shifting towards preparing the body for the delivery. Ideal time, they say that 37 to 40th week, according to Ayurveda. And the fetus in this period goes in full nourishment of the fetus happens during this period. So the maximum weight gain also during the pregnancy is towards the end of the pregnancy, 8th and 9th month. So for that, add more ghee also, because ghee helps in lubricating also, and the oil massage also.
Okay.
In Ayurveda, we say that there is like a apan vata we need required for the delivery, right? Downward energy. So to promote that, the body needs to be well lubricated. So that's why I include more ghee and warm sesame oil massage head to toe. One can do cell body massage on daily basis, on regular basis. And even to promote the smooth vaginal delivery, there is a vaginal tamponing with the sesame oil. That is also one can consider, or with the herbal oils. That is also can be considered.
So what is it? Can you soak like a tampon in the oil and insert it? Does that help?
I would not say that tampon. I would say the cotton ball, which is like sterilized properly. Soak in the sesame oil, or maybe in the trifla oil. That can be inserted in the vaginal area to promote the relaxation of the muscles.
Okay, great.
And provide, that will ensure actually that the woman's waist, back, pelvic region, hip region, thigh region remains well lubricated, soft, and when it is well lubricated and soft, it will make it more flexible, which will help in vaginal delivery.
Great.
So these are a little bit of a month-to-month regimen. We say that according to Ayurveda.
Fantastic. Such great advice there.
And one thing I would say that there are a lot of herbs which are safe to take during pregnancy, but there are a lot of herbs which are not safe to take during pregnancy. And it is always best to go ask somebody who is well knowledgeable, Ayurveda practitioner, Vaidyas, Ayurveda doctors, or your OBGYN, to see what is safe and what is not safe. For example, aloe vera. We think that aloe vera is very, very safe. But aloe vera is the medicine or the herb one should not take during the pregnancy at all.
Okay.
That is the one herb which I suggest not to take during the pregnancy, along with other lifestyle recommendations. So now comes to the care of the breast, because once the baby is delivered, the breastfeeding starts. So, but we need to prepare the breast for the breastfeeding before the baby delivers.
Right.
So that's where it comes that again the oil massage will be helpful, and one can use the trifla oil or the sesame oil or the olive oil. That actually helps in preventing the sagging of the breast also during the pregnancy and during breastfeeding. And also helps in making ensure that the circulation is proper. So that needs to be done. Then during the pregnancy, there are a certain time period when the baby starts growing and there are a lot of the abdominal skin start stretching.
Yes.
And that gives rise to some stretch marks also. So for stretch marks also, again, one can do the oil massage. Either go for a warm oil, sesame oil. One can use rose oil also because it is cooling also. Because when the skin stretch, it starts feeling a little burning also. So rose oil is also a good option. Sandalwood oil is also a good option. And try not to scratch, though there is going to be urge to scratch, but not to scratch because that is going to leave the marks.
Okay.
It is always good to take the small cotton cloth and then you can do the itching with that only. To soothe do the lightly massage to get the relief from that itching.
Okay.
So that's how one should care for the stretch marks. Then the Abhyanga from the 4th month onwards, we say that the pregnant woman should begin doing the self-body massage. The entire body, head to toe, as I said, gently with warm sesame oil, or you can opt for trifla oil, or you can opt for Brahmi oil, sandalwood oil, whatever makes you happy. But one should definitely go for a Abhyanga 4th month onwards.
Okay, great.
Healing music, meditation, all are the good part of going for a good pregnancy and cultivating more good sanskar in the baby. So there is a certain musics which can be really, really soothing for the baby, or the mantras which one can listen to give the additional benefit on the mental health for herself as well as for the baby.
Wonderful.
So after the delivery, there is a phase which we call it as a postpartum. And that is very, very elaborated phase where one has to take care of herself for 45 days. In Ayurveda, we say that. And in many cultures, they give the baby and the mom a proper rest so that the body can recover properly. But since that, there are a lot of things which we need to discuss. So it's good that we will discuss in another episode how we can help with the breastfeeding and the postpartum.
Yes, I think postpartum is something that's really neglected in the West, and I want to take a whole episode on its own just for that and breastfeeding. I think that'd be amazing. So we'll do part 3 in this Ayurveda pregnancy series, and we'll just cover postpartum and breastfeeding there. That'd be amazing. So I have a couple of questions. The advice that you gave today on the month-to-month diet and lifestyle during pregnancy was fantastic. So I wanted to ask we mentioned about avoiding spice. So would you say throughout pregnancy, avoiding any pungent foods and spices?
Yes, I would say that avoid, because first of all, in the first month of pregnancy, first trimester of the pregnancy, because the body needs the cooling to sustain that pregnancy.
Right.
So that's the reason initial month also, and afterwards, as the baby starts growing, the chances of getting the hemorrhoids or the fissure or the constipation, it gets increased. So that's why there are spicy and pungent food is a big no, we say that. But if you want to include in a moderation, once a while, one can include.
Right.
But there are friendly spices also from where you can take a lot of help, like black pepper, ginger powder, and then cumin, turmeric, those one can include in the diet.
Okay, so when you're talking about pungent, you're talking about things like cayenne pepper, chili pepper, wasabi, very pungent things.
Yes.
How about garlic? Garlic is quite heating as well.
Garlic is heating, but after the first trimester, one can use in a moderation. That is also healthy because garlic is also like help with the pelvic strength and helps with the Apan Vayu also.
Okay, fantastic. That's great.
Downward energy.
Yes. Okay, that's great. Thanks for clarifying that. The other question I have is on morning sickness, which obviously takes place a lot for some people in the first trimester, and for some people it can go on through the pregnancy. So what suggestions do you have for morning sickness and the nausea that
For
comes with
morning
that?
sickness, I will say that ginger is the best friend.
Okay.
Maybe ginger tea, include the ginger tea, or maybe ginger with a lemon can be done on regular basis. And eat lighter meal, eat frequent meals, because the more heavy meal you will eat or the larger quantity, it will trigger the nausea because it is going to start putting pressure on the stomach also. And can trigger the nervous system also. So that's why frequent smaller meals sometimes can help. And sometimes having a small piece of ginger with lemon and rock salt to chew before the food also can help with the nausea and appetite also.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Just a sliver of ginger, fresh ginger chopped up with a little bit of rock salt and a little bit of lemon or lime.
Yes. And also during the last trimester, I forgot to mention that sometimes we see that the feet starts swollen. Yeah. Because of the fluid start retaining and the edema starts becoming more prevalent in the lower legs and the feet. So for that also one can take the coriander tea. That can be helpful. Great. And there are certain herbs also, Gokshur tribulus, which is very, very effective for that. Gokshur helps in eliminating the excessive fluid from the body without disturbing the normal pregnancy, because the Gokshur is actually a Rosana also. So it helps in rejuvenating also. Great. So one can include that as well, but definitely with the help of your Ayurveda practitioner or doctor. Okay. But safely you can utilize coriander tea, which helps in removing excessive fluid.
Great. Wonderful. And the coriander tea you can just make yourself. For those people who are not familiar with that, just make a tablespoon of coriander seeds, whole seeds, and boil them up in about a couple of cups of water. Was that what you would recommend? Something like that?
Yes. Okay. Take 1 tablespoon of coarse powder of coriander seed, boil with the 2 cups of water, and reduce by boiling, reduce to 1 cup. And that afterwards, sieving or straining, you can have 1 cup, and that will help with the edema.
Fantastic. Well, Vidya Meenakshi, thank you so much. This has been such great information. Going into detail on the advice from Ayurveda on the month-to-month diet and lifestyle is just going to be so helpful for people. So thank you so much. And we look forward to part 3 in this series, where again, we're going to cover all about postpartum and breastfeeding, and that's going to take up one whole episode on its own. So I thank you so much for sharing this really great wisdom from Ayurveda.
Thank you, Colette. Thank you so much, because your platform is so good. A lot of people can get benefit from the Ayurveda, the good science of Ayurveda. I would say that. So thank you to you providing that platform where one can share the knowledge about Ayurveda. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. And we will chat again soon.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Take care. We'll chat soon. Bye-bye for now.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye.
What wonderful advice there. And you can find the link to Ayurvedic physician Meenakshi Gupta's website, ayurroots.com, in the show notes. So check out the show notes and that will take you over there to that website. And don't forget to check out the links there also to the upcoming seasonal cleanse starting September 20th and my upcoming Ayurveda and yoga retreat here on the French Riviera, October 11th to the 13th. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you find that this episode will be helpful to family or friends, please share this episode with them and take good care of yourself. Be well and ciao for now.